and welcome to the first episode of the Boropolis Podcast. This is something me and Nathan have been wanting to do for a while now. We've overcome a lot of technical difficulties, but we're finally here. Nathan, are you okay?
Just about, yeah. Few tech issues, but we're underway and we're ready to go.
Yeah, ready to go. As we say, a lot of tech issues. We are pretty much, in the grand scheme of things, amateurs, so hopefully you can hear us, hopefully you can see us. Fingers crossed. We're sort of playing it by ear. Fingers crossed we'll get a little bit better. So I think probably the best place to start is what we do, what we're about. Nathan, I'll let you go first.
Right, so I'm Nathan. I'll be a part of this podcast with Chris, and I am a sports journalism student at the University of Lincoln. I've been a Boro fan for many years now, writing articles on Boropolis's blog, and yeah, that's about me really, just the basic stuff.
Yeah, on to me. Nothing more exciting than Nathan, really. Also a sports journalism student, slightly older, into my third year at university now. I am the person that tweets the ridiculous Brazilian translations of transfer news at the moment, or tries to anyway. We've been doing Boropolis for a while now, but thought it's the right time. Season is on the horizon. Now would be a good time to start the podcast. So what to expect really from the podcast? We're going to be doing it weekly, obviously covering games, covering transfer news until the window shuts, and hopefully eventually getting a few guests on. I'm very excited. I think we should just go straight into it, Nathan.
Yeah, let's get into it.
So we thought, just to start off, it would be a good idea, get our opinions, get our feelings of Middlesbrough. So we wrote down a few questions to get to know sort of our Borough lives, really. Can I call it that? Yeah.
I suppose so. Yeah, our feelings and thoughts of all the memories that we've made watching this football club over our time.
This wonderful football club. So, first of all, how long have we been supporting the club? Nathan, I'll let you go first again.
For me, pretty much all my life, really. I see old photos of me in family photo albums, in Boro shirts when I was only 2-3-year-old. And first memory really of watching Boro is just watching us on Match of the Day and things like that, really, before I had a season ticket, before I went to games. I don't know about you, Chris.
Yeah, well, I don't know if you can tell. I'm not sure if it's that strong of an accent, but I'm not even from Middlesbrough, so I'm a bit of a plastic fan, if you want to call us. No, I was also been supporting Middlesbrough since I really was born. I've got family that were born in Middlesbrough and sort of just got it thrown on me as a kid that that's the only thing you're allowed to support. Being in Middlesbrough kits since I was about as high as probably the table next to me, which isn't very big. And as you say, been supporting since, I was a small kid. First season ticket, well, when it started to go bad, really, when we got relegated. First started taking interest towards the back end of getting relegated. First season ticket in the Championship, 2009, 2010. I don't know when your first season ticket was.
Probably just the season before, actually, the season where we got relegated. So what a welcome to supporting Middlesbrough Football Club with a relegation straight away.
Yeah, with our ages, we sort of missed the glory years. Obviously, we know everything about it and we know all of the players and that type of thing. But unfortunately, we got dealt the hand of your Ishmael Millers, Lee Miller. There's countless other names I could go through, but it hasn't been. There's been very few highs, should we say? So next up, favourite game. This is one of the highlights, one of the few highlights we might have had. So favourite game, Nathan.
Favourite game? Well, it's hard to say, really, for me. I think I've seen a few that stand out. I'd say Man City 8-1. I remember being there only as, how old would I have been then? Maybe 8-year-old, something like that. And I remember Stuart Downing on the volley with his left peg outside of the foot. I
Oh,
think that was to
brilliant.
make, I think that
What
was
a
to make
goal.
it 3. Yeah, so I remember that one. And then another standout was beating City away again, the City again. It must just be
Yeah, we've
Man
got
City.
for a small, well, I don't want to call this a small club, but for a club of our size, we seem to have quite a decent record against Man City, at least over the
Yeah,
last few years.
yeah. So City away 2-0. I remember Bamford sliding in for the scrappiest goal I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah,
Um, and then Kike coming in the last minute. But I think our win that day was overshadowed by Bradford beating Chelsea as well in the FA Cup the same
yeah.
day.
It doesn't get enough justice, does it? That win,
No,
Man
it
City at
doesn't.
the time, Aguero, Jovetic. We had Dean Whitehead, Martin Jovetic.
Exactly.
Edin
Yeah.
Dzeko, Nasri, all them types of players, and we rocked up with Kike and Bamford and got the job done.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we were fantastic that day. And then obviously I think everyone as a Boro fan would probably say the 1-1 with Brighton stands out. However, I'd say the one that stands out more to me was Bolton away that season, 2-1.
Jordan
Jordan
Rhodes
Rhodes
delivers.
brace. Yeah,
Yeah,
Jordan Rhodes brace. Yeah, he was
you there?
fantastic there. Yeah, I was there, yeah,
Yeah,
in that
I was
away
being
end.
a armchair fan that day. But don't worry, I was jumping around the living room, absolutely loving life at the time.
Yeah, it was brilliant. So yeah, Chris, your best Borough game or best Borough games.
I think what you've just gone with there would have to be Brighton. Obviously, I was there for that game. Possibly the most nerve-wracking, nail-biting last 7 minutes
It was
that
horrible.
anyone should anyone's ever been through, any Borough fan. Yeah, what a great start it was. Stawani early on, kicking the corner flag.
It was brilliant. I
Yeah,
remember him
atmosphere
running
was
past the corner
electric,
flag.
probably the best I've seen it. And, well, of course, the magnitude of that game. How many times does two teams get to the final game and pretty much have a promotion shootout? It was just an absolutely fantastic day.
Yeah, absolutely unbelievable. And I remember driving through the town centre, just moving the car. Actually, I think we moved it to a car park to go out in the town after, and oh my god, the amount of people beeping horns,
Yeah,
just walking through the middle of the road. It was just absolutely unbelievable. The town was
carnage.
carnage,
Yeah, I think
carnage that
another
afternoon.
another notable mention, again at the Riverside, Brentford in the playoffs, second leg.
Yes,
For Middlesbrough, who historically don't really perform great when it gets to finals and semi-finals, probably more so finals. We just turned up and battered them, didn't we?
absolutely wiped the floor with them that day. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
And it made me even happier looking back, seeing Harley Dean, who was at Brentford at the time, his
Harley
comments in the
Dean,
Gazette.
of course, I remember that.
Yeah, it was fantastic. But yeah, absolutely battered them that day. And again, the Riverside was electric.
Yeah, so we've done favourite games, favourite goals now. I mean, we don't score a lot, but there's been a few decent ones. So I'll go first. I think we may have the same goal. I'm not too sure yet. But an away game, Huddersfield away. I believe we were both there. Grant Ledbetter. Everyone in that away end is saying, Grant, do not shoot whatever you do. He steps up and smashes it into the top corner. Probably the least expected goal, but definitely the best goal I've ever seen.
It was absolutely outrageous that day. Yeah, standing behind the goal at the John Smith Stadium. And it was at the other end to the away fans. So seeing Grant line it up and the whip and bend and swerve and everything on that ball was absolutely ridiculous to see. I
Yeah,
just don't even know how he did it. But yeah, we had our own Roberto Carlos that day.
it was our very own little Roberto Carlos moment. Still to this day, I watch it back and I still think he's going to blaze it over into the stand, to be honest. I still haven't come to terms with the fact that it flew into the top corner.
Yeah, it was absolutely outstanding, that goal. And on the day as well, he stepped up in the last minute as well and won us the game 2-1
Stuck
with
the
a penalty
away, didn't he? Yeah.
Yeah.
So next up, sort of similar favourite match, but a little bit more niche. I've got favourite moments, so that can be one of the many comedy of errors that's a favourite moment that you just thought was funny. A favourite game, it can be another goal if you want, but I'll let you go first.
One that sticks out as a funny moment was in the promotion season away at Craven Cottage. We were 2-0 up at half time, and I think the Boro players thought that it was time to bring the party tricks out. We took a corner in front of the away end.
I already know where you're going with this.
We took the corner in front of the away end, and I was there that day, and I thought, well, maybe we could get 3 or 4 here. But he took the corner in front of the away end, a short one, led Bissett to Ensue, and he stood there. And I thought, what's he doing here? He just put the ball in the box. And he's tried a rainbow flick over the fullback. Yeah. And he skewed it, and it's just got out for a goal kick. And everyone in the crowd is absolutely killing themselves laughing. And Grant Leadbitter's turned around to Ensue, and he just absolutely berating him. It was absolutely hilarious to watch.
I think that's my favourite part of that clip. Just Leadbitter. It's the death stare at first, as if to say, what have you just done? And then he just lays into him, doesn't he? He is not happy one bit.
Yeah, he was a proper captain, Leadbitter, wasn't he? He was brilliant.
Yeah, what a player, what a captain. For me, favourite moment, sort of in the midst of a goal, Adam Forshaw against Reading. Absolute pandemonium in the stadium. The ground felt like it was shaking. But a small little moment in that goal, now people were falling over seats, all sorts. And I just remember a man, I haven't seen him at the match since, to be honest, rolling over some seats, ending up on his knees to the left of me. I'm looking down, sort of scrambling, still trying to celebrate. And some bloke is literally on his hands and knees, arms up in the air, praying to God. It's just he's just screaming, believe. And the image just sticks in my head. Now, obviously, promotion seasons get the better of people, understandable. But this man, I don't know if he was praying to God or the Boro gods, I'm not sure. But just the image of him on his hands and knees, one of these, as if he just scored the goal. I'll never forget it.
God, that game was nerve-wracking to say the least at first, where you just think one of them where Boro are just going to let us down here again. Boro always let us down. And then 90, what minute was it? 94, 96? I can't even remember.
It must have been 94.
Yeah.
Probably just hit 94 when Albert's got the ball smashed off his face.
Yeah, one of them. And I remember the day perfectly well because I remember being off school, actually. I was off school ill. And
Pull a little sickie to get to the game.
I must have been, but I was saying to my mum, please let me go to the game. I know I've been off school, but please let me go to the game. And she was like, I don't know, maybe not. Anyway, I ended up going, and thank God I did, because that was
got the all clear.
That was something else. That last minute shot from Forshaw and the scenes at the end in the corner flag.
Absolutely outstanding. I remember the Michael Agazi knee slide as well. Didn't play a minute, but he was so up for it. He was just absolutely loving it.
Everyone was, wearing it.
I think it could have been Julian Dessart. I remember him. He was sliding down. It was just a pylon, wasn't it? I think the players sort of reflected what was going on in the stands as well.
Yeah, they did. They just didn't know what to do with themselves, really. But yeah, what a day that was. That scene in the corner at the end showed the full togetherness of that squad, I think.
Yeah. And on that squad again, I've got favourite game. For me, it's got to be Brighton. Obviously, the result that took us up, same squad of players, fantastic bunch, just really, what else can I say?
Yeah, I think for me and you, that's probably the standout squad that we've seen properly in the flesh, that we've had a full season to be able to watch. I think from the first sort of few months of the season, we thought we could kind of be onto something special with this squad and trying to get promoted after being in the Championship for 7 or 8 years maybe at the time. But yeah, after all the drama as well, it's just typical Boro to have all that drama.
Those last-minute goals, wasn't there? In the build-up, it almost felt, obviously, the Brighton game was its one-off, but it almost felt that last 5 or 6 games just all rolled up into one, and sort of there were so many late winners, so much drama.
Yeah.
During the season, Karanka had walked out. It seemed so much in doubt when that happened, that Charlton game, but then, we got the job done.
Yeah, that sums us up, doesn't it? Never make it easy.
Never, ever easy with Middlesbrough, is it?
Not at all.
So, next of all, I'll let you go first with this one. There's been quite a lot with our time supporting Middlesbrough. Worst moment, Nathan?
Worst moment? Well, I mean, where do we even start?
There's been too many to even talk about.
There's been absolutely loads. There's been relegations. There's been games where you think that you're so comfortable being 1-0 up away, whoever it is.
Never ever simple, is it?
And you concede a last-minute winner or equaliser or something. It's just horrible. But anyway, I think it's not even the worst moment, but just for the laugh and for the head, just shake of the head. Last season, really. Not last season, the season before. I'm still thinking that
COVID's thrown everyone off. It's all right, mate. Under Jonathan Woodgate, I'm guessing you're talking about.
Under Jonathan Woodgate. I mean, as a whole season, you could class it as a worst moment. However, I'm just going to roll it into one with the season being postponed due to the pandemic and coming back in June, Project Restart, the Championship and the Football League have come to a sort of agreement that the division's going to start up again and that the last 8 games of the season are going to be played out. So Boro have got Swansea at home.
So much anticipation. Everyone was buzzing for it.
Been waiting for months for this to come back, for football to come back and to watch Boro again, albeit through iFollow.
iFollow and Snoop Dogg. How can we forget
Snoop Dogg
Snoop
and the
Dogg?
Just Eat advert. My God. Brings back memories. But anyway, yeah. The team sheet gets announced at 2:00 and we've got Gusted and Nemecha starting up front. And I think, do you want to know what? I looked at the squad the other day and Shotton was playing as well at centre-back. And obviously Dejan Stojanovic was in goal. And I thought, well, okay, Woodgate might have seen something that we haven't in training, that these guys could offer us something a bit different to what we've seen before the pandemic.
It was, I'll let you continue, but it was, as bad as the game was, it was just that moment of, I don't even think I can describe how underwhelming and angry I was at the time. Like you say, we'd waited all those months, seen the training photos on Twitter, on Instagram. The boys are ready. Flick on the team news at 2:00. Gusted and the Metro starting up top. It's one of them, isn't it? You had a double take. Nah, that's got to be wrong.
Like, surely not. Anyway, start the game. You think, right, This is what we've waited for. Brilliant. Football's back. By 3:30, we're 3-0 down at home to Swansea City.
Yeah.
And I was borderline deciding to turn the TV off and just think, surely this is a bad dream. Surely football hasn't come back and surely we're not 3-0 down at half-time. But that just sums us up. And then, obviously, Woodgate was sacked pretty much after that game, and Warnock came in and saved us from the mess that we were in.
Well, yeah, in the same essence, worst moment for me, bit of a personal one. Under Woodgate again, I'm sure there might be older Middlesbrough fans listening thinking, God, it really wasn't that bad. But Barnsley away, it was sort of that week of destiny, wasn't it? It was Barnsley, I think Luton.
Yeah, Luton at home. And Wigan away was prior to it.
Wigan away. Went to, I think the Wigan game was before that, wasn't it? And we threw away a lead.
Yeah,
Lewis Wick with two casual bangers.
And then a Harold McCoody own goal.
Well, I mean, that just set the tone for the next game, didn't it? Harold McCoody. What a header, by the way. Just in the wrong net, Harold. Yeah. So, Barnsley away. The performance is dreadful. One of them, seen the team, and again, Ravel Morrison starting, and I'm just thinking, do you know what? Ravel, he hasn't had a chance yet. Maybe this is his chance to shine.
Yeah, this is the game.
And the performance was terrible. One of the many, many hideous performances under Jonathan Woodgate. But again, a little moment that just sort of capped the day off. There's that horrible walk at Oakwell, isn't there? Previous Middlesbrough managers, I know Tony Mowbray had the same, walking back down past the away fans. And Rudy Gestede, of all people, decides, do you know what? We've been terrible and I'm robbing a living, but I'm having a go at the fans here. And I got it on record. I was recording, fully expecting some sort of reaction. And he had previous for doing the same at Newport, I believe, the season before. And yeah, Big Rudy's just thought, do you know what? I'm not having it. And he's just went at a fan. And it was just possibly one of the most sour atmospheres I've ever been a part of.
Well, when it comes to that game, I wasn't actually there that day. I kind of wish I was, because I love Barnsley away, been there a few times, and it's fantastic. However, as it happens, I was in Barcelona that weekend.
Oh, believe me, Barcelona will have been so much better than Barnsley.
You haven't even heard the story yet.
All right. Okay.
This is absolutely ridiculous. I was at Barcelona watching Barcelona against Eibar, and Braithwaite had just signed for Barcelona. Oh. I was initially thinking to myself, surely Braithwaite does not start over Messi. I'm sure Barcelona had a game in the Champions League that was like a big game coming up, a last 16 Champions League game or something like that. And I thought, no way is Braithwaite going to start over Messi here, because I was only in Barcelona really to see Messi.
Well, of course.
As you would.
Yeah.
And anyway, Messi started that day, and he scored 4 as Barcelona ripped Eibar 5-0. And Braithwaite actually set one of the goals up, the fifth. He came off the bench, and I thought, how funny that I'm watching Braithwaite play for Barcelona on his
all
debut.
The way to Barcelona, and that little man is somehow managed to get a move.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. But I remember walking out the stadium, the Camp Nou, and checking my phone and seeing we'd been beat 1-0 and seeing your tweet of Gestede on the video. And I thought, surely not. I remember turning to my dad and I was saying, Gestede's gone at a fan again. I said, I can't believe it.
Again, that's the worst part about it. He literally had previous at Newport. And again, he's just thought, I'm the man that's going to stop all this booing and chanting. Just, of all players, I mean, he never had a good reputation since he signed, really. The signing never made sense as a whole, but his 2 little episodes at Newport and Barnsley just really epitomised his Middlesbrough career, to be honest.
Yeah, it summed it up. And he's now in the A-League with Melbourne Victory, I want to say, with Shotton.
Yeah. Well, him and Ryan Shotton have got a little ex-Middlesbrough club, haven't they, going on out there? So
Must.
we wish Rudy and Ryan the worst of luck. No, in fact, you know what? I didn't mind Ryan Shotton too much, but Gestead, yeah, he's probably out injured. He was most of the time.
Do you want to know what he actually was the last time I checked?
Right. Well, I mean, that makes sense, doesn't it? He seems to be injured more than anything. So this is quite another good springboard, to be honest. The next question was going to be the worst player you've seen pull the prestigious Middlesbrough shirt on. Now, Rudy's probably in with a shout. I'll let you go.
I think Rudy's within that bracket.
He's definitely in the bracket.
Do you want to know what?
Bracket.
I think you could say that I think probably maybe 4 or 5 players from that Woodgate squad could be in that bracket, if I'm honest.
Potentially, I think you could be right, yeah.
Because I think, honestly, because it sticks out in my head so much, Nemecha, I know he's just got to move for 15 million.
We're slagging him off and he's just got a 15-odd million pound move to Wolfsburg, I think it is.
Yeah.
If you'd have said to any Middlesbrough fan after that Swansea game, because I think that's probably the last time he actually got on the pitch. I could be wrong.
Yeah. I can't remember.
In 2 years' time, he'll get a £15 million transfer. It would have just been a straight laugh back in your face, wouldn't it?
Yeah, crazy. But I think when you talk about some of the worst players at the club, you think about the Strachan era, really.
Yeah.
I mean, that was pretty much the prime Boro banter era, I think. That time in our championship life, I think, as said, Lee Miller.
Yeah,
God.
we briefly discussed this the other day, but we've both got our own answers. But I think definitely there's probably, in fairness, 4 or 5 of Strachan's signings that could easily go in that bracket. Definitely running for the award.
I think you could say, so you can take it from 2 perspectives with this. You can think just how bad of a player they were, or you can look at it for whatever transfer fee they moved to the club for and how well they performed sort of going against the transfer fee. And for the second part of that, I think I'd probably say Assombalonga.
Really?
I would. Because I was absolutely his biggest fan when he first signed for us. I was full of hope for him. I got his name on the back of a shirt and everything.
That must have cost a few quid. Plenty of leather on that.
I know. Yeah. I thought, this guy is the guy to fire us back to the Premier League at the first time of asking. And it just didn't work out that way.
No,
I know that he was our top scorer in pretty much every season he was here. But it wasn't really a tough ask given the
given what competition he had. Yeah. Fair play.
Yeah.
I think on Brit, like you say, first few games, I think really it was that season he signed. It was Wolves first, wasn't it? And we were unlucky that day. Probably could have got a point. And then it was Burton at home. Got the brace. Played very well. Big, strong, fast, holding off defenders. Scored his 2 goals. You're thinking, right, Middlesbrough have finally got a good striker on the hands. He's going to get 30 this season. And then I think Nottingham Forest was up next, and that pretty much just...
That's the game.
That summed him up in a Middlesbrough shirt.
Yeah.
Miss after miss after miss. And what made it worse, against his old team. I remember being at the City ground and just thinking, if ever Middlesbrough could sign a player for £50 million and then he goes and performs like that, it is just us all over, isn't it?
Yeah, it is 100%. And the thing is with that Forest game as well is the chances that he had weren't even necessarily difficult
They
chances.
weren't difficult chances.
They were all sitters as well.
Yeah, he should have scored an awful lot more. Now, for my worst player, again, strikers, we've had plenty over the years. You've already mentioned him in the Strachan era, the one and only Lee Miller. I mean, where do I start with Lee? If you are watching Lee Miller, I'm sure you're not. It's probably best if you switch off now, because I mean that will have been my first season when he signed first season ticket. Obviously, I'd been watching before that, but first season ticket, and every time, I think I said this to you the other day, every time, because he rarely started, and there's no surprise why, but when he did come on, it was almost as if that old saying, you are playing with 10 men. He never looked like scoring, really failed to show why we brought him in. I don't know what that signing was all about. Maybe he was just mates with Gordon Strachan. I'm not sure, but
I must say, I think that a lot of the players that we signed under Strachan must have had some sort of relationship with him for them.
well,
to
they must
be
have had
able to
something on him. I'm not sure what they may have had on him, but definitely something, because there was a fair few in that era, like you say, where I mean, you mentioned to me that Lee Miller is still playing football at the moment. I'm not sure whether he's been, I think it's in the Scottish leagues.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what method of payment, or if he is being paid to play football. But if a chairman is actually, I mean, he may have got better since then, but if a chairman is parting with hard-earned money to pay Lee Miller to play up front for them, then
struggling, aren't they?
They must be really, really down to the bare bones.
Yeah, so, I mean, I checked his stats the other day at Boro. 11 goals. 11 appearances.
11 appearances.
11 appearances, no goals.
It just about sums up, yeah, all of them Stratton signs. There was a few, Barry Robson, but apart from that,
yeah, tried his best. Our Barry.
Yeah, our Barry. What a goal away at Sunderland, by the way.
and the one at home to Hull. It was a rocket.
He seemed to only score good goals, didn't he, Barry Robson?
He must have done. Have done. Only score screamers.
Yeah. Well, moving on, the last question. Now, this is a bit of a different question. Not really relevant to football ability, more relevant to personality and what we know about the players. Nathan, if you were stranded on a desert island and you could only have one Middlesbrough player with you, which one are you choosing? Current squad, it must be.
Well, since you mentioned this, I've been thinking long and hard of which player I'd choose.
I'm excited to hear. I am excited because I'll give this probably more of a thought than any of the questions.
If I had to be on a desert island with one of the current squad, I don't necessarily want to pick a player. I think it'd have to be Leo. I'd pick Leo.
I like where you've gone with this. I'll let you have it. Yeah.
Yeah. Leo, 100%. He seems just what a man. Like, I think he'd be able to cut down trees. He'd be able to get us some food. He'd be good crack to be with and keep the spirits high between us both.
And I can just imagine Leo. He loves a chest pump, doesn't he?
He does, yeah.
Fans back in stadium next season, he's going to be more up for it than ever. And I can imagine him knocking down a coconut or something like that and just banging his chest, just absolutely loving it.
Just absolutely loving every minute
so
of being on that desert island. Yeah, he's class, Leo. I love him, and I can't wait for him to be having scraps with other championship coaches on the sidelines this season.
Yeah, it's a matter of time, isn't it? Not long now, but when we're inevitably getting beat 1-0 off Fulham in the 90th minute, chasing the game, and Leo is smashing some, I don't know, physio's head in trying to get the ball back, then we'll know that the football is back. So
that'll be it. Football is well and truly back.
Yeah. Now, for me, this might surprise a few people. If you watch Middlesbrough's social media channels, especially over the last few years, you'll have noticed that Dale Fry isn't the sharpest tool in the box. But I feel like for just pure entertainment value, having Dale Fry on an island would just be... I think he's one of them people, I don't know him, I feel like he's just one of them people where you can just look at him and it would be funny.
Yeah, he is that type of person, actually, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, footballing ability, he's the Berwick Hills Beckenbauer, but...
Is he just? What a player, by the way. It by no means is this me saying that I don't rate him, because I love Dale Fry and what a player. But yeah. I think for comedy value, some of the facial expressions he pulls, that Ramsden's currency challenge with Connor Roberts, where he just says euro for everything. I just thought, do you know what? Yeah, I'd quite like to go with Dale. And
yeah,
if something fell on his head from a tree, maybe it might. Yeah, I think he's heading it one, but potentially it might knock a bit of sense into him. I'm not too sure.
Must do. He definitely doesn't seem like the sharpest tool in the shed, does he?
No, but what a player. Dale will love you. So that brings an end to the questions that were sort of agreed to just let you get a feeling of what we're about, what sort of brilliant and quite terrible teams we've had to witness throughout our years. And now I think we just really want to have a bit of a general discussion about what's happening at the moment with the club. Obviously, the transfer window is open. The season starts in a week's time. Best place to start, of course. There is so much transfer talk going on at the moment. There's so many links. I feel like tweeting these out is almost like a full-time job at the moment. But I love it because I'm all over it. Translating Brazilian and Portuguese tweets. I love it. I can't lie. One Brazilian that has seemingly turned us down, Rodrigo Muniz. I'm not sure how I'm pronouncing that, but he's definitely turned us down, and he looks like he's on his way to Fulham. Nathan, how are you feeling about that?
Well, at first, I thought, when we first got linked with him about 3 weeks ago, I thought, there's not a chance, because I read that Atletico Madrid and Inter Milan and other sides in Europe were linked with him, and I thought, well, why are we even being mentioned here? Like, surely not. But as it got closer to the last week or so, I thought, if we get this guy in, he'd be ridiculous. I think the YouTube searches don't help at all.
It's always the YouTube highlight, isn't it? It really is always the YouTube highlights. I try and stay away, and then you just get drawn in. And by the time you've finished the 8-minute clip with heavy dubstep in the background, you're thinking, I'll be amazed if we aren't in the Champions League in 3 seasons.
Yeah, I mean, he looked very, very good for the Championship level from the highlights I'd seen on YouTube. But obviously, the bright lights of London have caught his eye and his agent. But as I've heard in the last few hours, I've heard that one, he's got COVID, which means, well, first of all, get well soon, Rodrigo. But
just in case he does sign in this sort of clout and he ends up at Middlesbrough, Rodrigo will wish you the best. If you don't sign, I'm not going to say anything because it is serious. It is a serious virus, isn't it?
If he doesn't sign, at least he won't be scoring against us next week with the potential quarantine that he'll have to do before signing for Fulham. So yeah, I mean, he looks like a good player. Fulham, with parachute payments and everything that they have that we don't, good luck to him. I think the club have done all they can to try and sign him, sending Bowser and Leo over to Lisbon. But yeah, on to the next one. Hopefully we get another striker in.
Well, I mean, you're saying sending Bowser and Leo. I'm not sure if they're just on holiday. I think at a meeting in Lisbon, potentially they may have just been on a sun lounger in Lisbon, or maybe Leo was doing a bit of cage fighting out there. I'm not too sure. I don't know. Maybe Neil Bowser was looking for some unknown Brazilian toothpaste that was going to make that Bowser grin even better than it already is.
Yeah, because it looks like that Bowser grin may need shining up for the announcement of Martin Piero, which in the last few hours, it looks like the deal is signed, sealed and delivered. So, yeah, Chris, what do you think about Piero?
Yeah, in the words of Fabrizio Romano, I tweeted it earlier, here we go. Again, I think a lot of Middlesbrough fans, a lot of us have got overexcited. Not overexcited because that makes it sound like it's not. We shouldn't be excited about it, but he's got such pedigree. He's an Argentine international. He's got rave reviews from Banfield supporters, from the Argentinian league. And to be honest, I think globally this is being seen as almost quite a coup for Middlesbrough, something that typically I don't think anyone going into this summer would have expected Neil Warnock to be splashing the cash on Argentinian football manager wonder kids. But from what we've seen of him and the abilities that he has, obviously a midfielder, of course, I'm so excited. I just want it to be announced and done. What about you?
Yeah, I think both of us are the same at the minute, actually, just kind of not trying to believe all the reports and just waiting for that Middlesbrough FC tweet. We just need it. Martin Piero announced. Piero announced, and then that is that done. Less of the worry. Yeah, I mean, I really hope that we get him in. I think not only do we need to get him in because we're short of bodies in there, but from the YouTube clips and things that I've seen and the short cameos that I've seen of him in the Olympics for Argentina, I think he looks like the exact sort of player that we need and that we want at the football club. He looks like he can spray a good pass, and hopefully in a few weeks when he hopefully is gelled in and hopefully he's signed, because I'm still not giving it away.
You really will not commit until that man is... I was about to say holding up the shirt, but he's in quarantine, so maybe a selfie will do. A selfie will do.
He'll do, yeah.
Yeah, anything. I mean, we just want him on that Middlesbrough Twitter. The notification will come through. Signed, sealed, delivered, as you said.
Done. Yeah.
Done. And hopefully, then let's not worry about it and be excited about him.
Yeah, hopefully, given a few weeks to gel, if he signs, he'll be whipping balls onto Big Uche's head and we'll be flying to the top of the championship, hopefully.
Fingers crossed. Now, we've also been linked all of a sudden this weekend. It just seems like there was a flurry of news with the mystery man, the mystery striker that no one still has a clue about, but supposedly it would shock Middlesbrough fans if he signed. Now, I don't know about you. I'm sure you've seen some of the replies and some of the suggestions. I've got no idea who it is, but I think it's safe to say that we won't be signing Ronaldo, Haaland, Diego Costa. I don't... It's such vague information, but it's that dangled carrot where your mind just goes wild and starts thinking, are we signing Messi? Are we signing Messi? I don't know. I can't say for definite. He is a free agent at the moment, but have you thought about who it could potentially be?
Well, I mean, I'd love for Duncan Watmore to be flying down the wing and putting balls on Zlatan's head, but I don't think that'll be happening.
No, I don't think that that is going to be the case, unfortunately.
But I have seen in certain forums Daniel Sturridge's name mentioned. Now, I don't think that will happen because everyone, again, is just thinking, what could be the best possible outcome from this tweet? But again, just same as you, no idea. I think, yeah, it has absolutely got everyone's minds racing as to who it could be. And I don't know. Nobody knows, I don't think.
Nobody knows. To be honest, I just wanted to guess from you. Let's just say we're signing Haaland and just start the rumour now.
Well, I think given the link earlier in the window, Josh Madger from Bordeaux, formerly of Sunderland, I know that especially in his short time in League One with Sunderland, he absolutely ripped it apart. What can I say, really? We were linked with him then in the January transfer window, and I thought, well, he'd be a fantastic signing for us if we got him in a few years ago in the January transfer window, but he opted for Bordeaux. I'm not entirely sure how that's worked out for him, but I know last year he was on loan in the Premier League with Fulham. So, yeah, I think Madger could be that type of player that Warnock loves. He's big, strong. He's got a bit of pace about him. And not only that, but I think he can finish.
Yeah.
I mean, as easy as that is to say, not many championship strikers are consistent with it. So, yeah, I think Madger would be the type of player that I'd really, really want at Middlesbrough.
Yeah, and echoing what you're saying, really, I think the way that it was quoted, and obviously stature was mentioned, and it'll be a difficult deal. I suppose you could say, I'm not sure about stature, but I suppose you could say that it would probably shock a few Middlesbrough fans because I think it's been rumoured that he's worth, that sort of 5 to possibly even reaching 10 million bracket. And really no one thought up until this Muniz sort of drama that we had that kind of money to spend, really. So obviously it leaves the door open. Fingers crossed that we see Diego Costa tussling with championship centre-halves, but I can't quite see it as much as I would love that. I would love to see big Diego Costa. The 19 shirts free, I think.
It is, I think, at the moment.
Playing for a Neil Warnock team. But of course, we've got to be realistic. It's not going to happen, is it?
It's not going to happen. But just thinking about Diego Costa in the red of Middlesbrough, Warnock reverting to 4-4-2, Duncan Watmore on one side, and hopefully Yannick Bolasie on the other.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. And then up front, Uche and Diego Costa absolutely tussling.
What a thought.
Championship
defences. Even just to think about it, wow. I think that would top Negredo and Valdez, and obviously Ravanelli, the countless rabbits that Steve Gibson has pulled out of his hat, where we just have no right to sign players of that stature. But yeah, I think we'll put the Diego Costa talk to bed now and just get a little bit of realism back into this. Speaking of realism, Jamie Patterson and Sol Bamba, both on trial. I think it's pretty much a done deal now that Bamba is going to get a year with a view to going into coaching potentially. Yeah. Patterson as well, set to hold talks at some point this week. What are your thoughts on both of them?
Bamba, we'll start with him. I think at first, when I found out that he would be training with us, I thought that's nothing more than a goodwill gesture, really, given the last year that Sol Bamba's had with his battle with cancer, which he's, thank God, beaten, which, I mean, that's remarkable for anyone. The more that pre-season's gone on, I've thought, wow, he'd be perfect for us, actually. He's a leader. He provides valuable cover at centre-back, which we don't really have at the moment. And with a view to go into coaching, I think for him, for all parties, it's a perfect move, really.
Yeah, I think, to be honest, I'm with you on that one. I think we're a little bit light in the defensive area, obviously, more so towards a left-sided defender or left back, whatever you want to call it. But I think just through experience, obviously, we've seen him play with the under-23s and get a lot of credit for his man management on the pitch. And, the fact he was barking out orders and just really being a role model and a player of that age. And obviously, with what he's been through, I think, to be honest, he's probably a good fit. I know some people will be quick to say, well, he's 30, I want to say 36, but I'm not 100% sure on that. But yeah, I think you're right with that one. On to Patterson. Now, over the past few years, every time Jamie Patterson, seems to play against us, he scores or has an unbelievable game or has some involvement. And as soon as I saw that he was training with us, I thought, yeah, get him snapped up, because I was amazed that no other championship club had took a risk on him straight away. Now, we've seen him in pre-season, and he did obviously pick up that knock, so he's probably a little bit behind on pre-season and fitness and things, but we've seen him play against Plymouth. He come on for a short spell against Rotherham, played in the friendly, which has completely slipped my mind.
York, I think.
York it was, yeah. And didn't really impress as much as perhaps we might have hoped he would. What are you thinking on the Patterson signing potentially?
Again, I think he didn't really impress me during the pre-season games, but he needs to be at full fitness, I think, to have a true reflection on what type of player he is. But from every time I've seen him playing against us in the Championship for Bristol City, I think genuinely every time I've seen him play, he's ripped us apart.
Yeah.
I think he played in the 3-0 defeat at home to Bristol City this season when he was up top with Jeju.
Yeah.
And they just dominated us, really. I think he would provide us with a bit of a different dynamic to what we already have, considering he's a little bit shorter than the players that we have, and he's probably a bit nippier as well. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be against taking him up on the free transfer or anything. I think he'd be a half decent option for us.
Yeah, and just on sort of transfers, obviously there is a few links at the moment. I'm sure that we'll hear more this week. It's, according to the Gazette, going to be a very busy week, obviously, with the striker, the mystery man, and a winger that's supposedly close. Obviously, there's a few names being bandied about. Junior Hoylett, one of them. But just in terms of signings in general, where we are now with the squad, what do you think we need between now and deadline day? When that window slams shut, what do you think we need?
Well, I think we have something like a month to go now of this transfer window. And to be honest with you, I think everyone knows that Middlesbrough on the whole are short of what a squad that wants to be competing at the top end of the Championship needs to have. They need to have quality in depth. And unfortunately for us at this moment in time, we don't have depth, never mind quality in depth. I think with players that are possibly leaving this summer, I think Dejan Stojanovic has been mentioned that he wants to go over to St. Pauli, I think it was, that he was on loan at last season. So I think we need to bring a new, more experienced goalkeeper in as well to go alongside Joe Lumley and Solbrin. I think we definitely need a left-sided defender. And we've had Kieran Brown and Kean Bryan both mentioned in the last few weeks, but nothing has advanced further than just a mention. I think we definitely need someone in, especially given Bowler hasn't featured at all in pre-season. I know Warnock said he's now training with the squad, but you need to get up to match fitness, really, don't you, given a few months off. And Coulson, obviously, is set to be heading out the door once we do get a left-sided player in. So we definitely need defensive recruitments. And as well as that, of course, Akpom's being linked away, which I think fair enough to him. It was a transfer that kind of baffled me at the time. I wasn't really sure where he'd fit in terms of a Neil Warnock team. But it is what it is. I think we'll get rid of it. We'll get rid of Akpom. Unfortunately, it hasn't worked out. And as a result, we'll need two strikers. So one of them, the mystery man, hopefully, whoever that is.
It's so exciting, isn't it? Obviously, with the transfer window in general, as you say, we do need forward players, probably wingers as well. As we know now that Sammy Amiobi is injured, we don't really have a timescale on it, but he looks to be suffering really at the moment. So hopefully Amiobi's back soon. But I think what you were saying, really, two strikers, a left back, Piero. I don't even know why I'm crossing my fingers, because surely it is done now, but I'm still holding out for that tweet. And then I think really wide players, because it'll give us that option. Players. Obviously, we've seen Warnock go from a 3-5-2, a 4-3-3, even a 4-2-3-1. It gives us that extra option of changing it up and playing against different teams and different challenges. Obviously, we want Yannick.
He's the man, isn't he? Yeah.
Everyone wants Yannick Bolasie back at Middlesbrough. We don't know what's happening. I don't think anyone does. I don't know why I'm saying we don't, as if we would have some sort of inside information. But there's been not really any links at the moment.
Not to any wide men, unfortunately, for us.
Yeah, so hopefully we'll make some progress with wide men. The mystery man, of course, a left back, and Sol Bamba as well. So, transfers done. I think just before we wrap up, just a quick little sort of how you're feeling about going into this season. Obviously, at the time of recording, I don't think we'll be doing a Fulham preview. It is Fulham on Sunday, but not so much going into that game, but the season as a whole. How are you feeling currently?
I think I'd say confident, but not fully sold on the fact that we are a full outfit yet. I don't think that this is the Middlesbrough that we are going to see come the end of August. I think we're going to see a lot more bodies coming in and a lot more depth, because I don't know why, but I am confident in the recruitment system.
Now that is a bold claim. That is a bold claim.
Yeah, I think get some more bodies in, and I think that the core of this squad probably has the ability to push on into the playoff places. I think it also helps, given the squads last season in the Championship of the teams in and around the playoffs, the Swanseas, Reading, Cardiff, those that are in and around the playoffs, I think they've sort of depleted a bit. I think Swansea, they've just brought in Russell Martin in the last few hours as their new manager, which it'll be interesting to see how a manager that hasn't managed at this level before, how he makes the step up after being at MK Dons. Reading, they're currently in a transfer embargo. I have a mate who's a Reading fan, and he is not optimistic at all.
I've seen today that actually one winger that we were linked with is Kadeem Harris on trial at Reading.
He
I
has
saw
been
that today, but I haven't seen anything for definite. So that could potentially, if they could get that over the line. Now, personally, I don't want him at Middlesbrough, but potentially for free, that could be a decent acquisition, I suppose.
Yeah, so of course Reading, and then Cardiff is the last one I'll speak about, who I thought Cardiff would again be up there this season. I might be wrong, there might be. With Kiefer Moore up front, I think that's pretty much guaranteed, about 20 goals a season. I think had we got him last season, I think we might have snuck in at the playoffs.
I was just waiting for you to say. It always seems to be the case, and obviously with Rodrigo Muniz as well. I keep on switching between Muniz and Muniz. I'm not sure. I'm not fluent in Portuguese or Brazilian or whatever you want to call it. But you just know that if he goes to Fulham, he'll bang in 30 and get a move to Real Madrid next summer. So just be prepared for it. If he comes to us, he'll probably score 3 and be shipped out on loan to Gateshead next season.
Yeah, so. I think, Cardiff obviously lost Harry Wilson as well to Fulham. And I think given those squads being depleted a little bit, I think that puts us within more of a chance, considering we haven't lost all that many, really, since, of course, we had Yannick and Cabano, who I pray doesn't come back to haunt us next week, Cabano. But
you just know he will. You know he will.
But of course you do, but
fingers crossed.
Yeah,
let's hope he gets hold of Jed Spencer's scooter again by the time we play them next week and picks up a little knock so he can't play against us.
Yeah, I mean, I think to just wrap up, I think we have a chance at the playoffs again. Really, given the squad that we've got, and if we bring in a few more bodies, I would take a nice 5th place.
Well, Nathan, I think that a lot of Middlesbrough fans, including myself, would be very happy with a 5th place finish. Obviously, there's still a lot to do in terms of transfers, but fingers crossed the recruitment team delivers. Finally, all that's left to say is thank you for watching. Obviously, me and Nathan have been wanting to do this for a while now. There is other Middlesbrough podcasts that are available, very good podcasts at that. But as I say, this is something we've wanted to do for a long time, and we hope you've enjoyed it. So thanks for watching, and hopefully you'll be with us for another episode soon.